Hey everyone, today I have Lizzi Weasler with me. She is the founder of Lizzie Beth, which is an online and brick and mortar clothing and jewelry boutique. Last year she was named Entrepreneur of the Year by Shepherd Express. She recently cracked a rib while coughing, not laughing, but she's going to power through this episode. I'm excited to have her on. I've known Lizzi since college, and one of the reasons I wanted to have her on since following her for a while is she's really done a great job growing her business in the community, creating a big following and community around Lizzie Beth. So we should get some great takeaways today.
Hopefully.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So you have an interesting background.
Yeah.
Well, we were at Marquette, I believe you graduated with a civil engineering degree?
Yep. So I did the whole 5-year program where I did the co-op. So I worked every other semester full-time for an engineering firm. And it was there where I kind of knew that I wasn't supposed to be sitting at a computer and taking orders from the man.
So what made you go from doing that and graduating with a civil engineering degree to, 3 years later, opening up your very own clothing store?
Yeah. So it took me a while to figure out where I am today. I went through a bunch of career changes. I moved to New York to work in fashion. I moved to Chicago to work in finance and risk management. And it was actually in Chicago when I found out it wasn't a career or a particular job that I was looking for. It was, the common thread was I just didn't like working for people. And not in a negative way, I loved everybody that I was working for, but I was aspiring and helping them build their dreams while I'm kind of just suppressing mine. So I wanted to figure out a way where I could have the ultimate control of my life.
And did you always strive to be an entrepreneur, or was this something you really realized after spending a few years in corporate America?
I think it was a little bit after. I've always liked, I like leadership roles, and I always tried to do like arts and crafts when I was little and try to sell them and stuff like that. So there wasn't some huge thing where I was like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur major and I'm going to have a business by the time that I'm 24 and da-da-da-da. It kind of just organically happened. I had to get to know myself a little bit more throughout school and after school in order to actually figure out that that's what I wanted to do.
And tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know a lot about the clothing industry.
Sure, yeah.
I don't
either.
Able to tell by what I'm wearing right now.
No, you look great.
But
Adidas is always in.
Thank you. I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
You look great from Lizzi Weasler.
Thanks.
It seems like a very crowded, saturated market that would be tough to break into from the outside looking in. What made you go into that industry?
Yeah. So it was almost like the industry chose me as opposed to me choosing the industry. I wanted to do something that I loved, and as cliche as it sounds, what girl doesn't love to shop and kind of help other girls figure out what they're going to wear that day? And everyone always came to me like, does this look good on me? Where did you buy that? And it kind of turned into a thing where they'd come for you advice in order to feel comfortable in their own skin. Mm-hmm. And I was just able to leverage that and build it into a business and get the mathematical side and the glamorous side kind of together. And it just sort of evolved from there. And obviously, my initial business plan that I created while still having my full-time job in Chicago to what it is today is 10,000% different. So it's been a fun evolution, but clothes just kind of stuck.
Yeah, nothing really goes as planned when you start a business.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. And it's probably not going to be the same company in another 3 or 4 years that it is today.
No, probably not. And if it is, it's probably not going to succeed. You always pretty much have to keep changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you drop everything at once and start this, or were you running it on the side for a little while you still had your job?
While I was in Chicago trying to build a business in Milwaukee, it got to a natural cutoff point where it was too difficult to schedule phone meetings while I was doing my full-time job. But what I really did while I still had that nice little salary was I would go home at night and I would create my business plan and do financial projections and see how long it would take me to actually make money if I hit the sales goals that I actually had. And then I found mentors in Chicago that actually owned boutiques and did the retail industry, and they kind of just guided me and knew that I wasn't a threat to their business or community because I was going to an entirely different state. So they were really helpful, but I really did most of the launch part when I didn't have a job.
So where were you at mentally and emotionally just dropping that stability when you had pretty much no revenue coming in then, right?
No revenue for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Which is fine because, again, I'm a numbers person and I the engineering side of me knew that I needed to make a 30-tab spreadsheet that all linked to what's your end goal, and this is when you're going to have to use your insurance policy of your degree or your job experience that you've had before and say, sorry, it doesn't work. You don't have any money, so you're going to have to go get a real job, or not a real job, but a corporate America job again in order to reboot and get some more cash flow. So it's all about planning. You can't just jump on, walk out the door and say, I'm going to start a business. You got to have a little bit of a plan.
I could have used you.
Yeah. Hey, but look where you are today. It still worked out.
Right. We have nice plants in here.
Yeah, see, you can afford a plant. You can afford to keep it alive.
Right.
You're going places. Yeah.
So you started strictly online in doing your own events. Now you opened a brick and mortar store a couple of years ago. Do you want to walk us through the evolution of the business?
Sure. So my initial business plan was to obviously not have any overhead at all. So I worked out of my apartment and I did pop-up shops and private parties because people would pay me to be places. I didn't have to pay for a location for people to maybe come in, maybe not come in, just starting out. Because I have zero clue how to run a business. I didn't study it. I didn't have someone just telling me and guiding me exactly what to do. So it just was a natural evolution of, I got to a point where the numbers started to poke through, and then also the following started to come through where I saw where all the packages were being delivered, where the parties were happening, and it was all local, which is great. So I said, well, if I'm getting all this local traffic and I'm shipping down the block, why don't I just figure out another brick and mortar plan about a year and a half into the business? And then that was another progressive leap of faith to be like, I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I bet I can make it up as I go. And I ended up finding the primo location where usually it's a 3 to 5 commercial lease. I was able to do as little as 1 year. So I saw that as a positive thing, and then I wanted to be in the 3rd ward, but their prices are really expensive. But I found a place where it was just right off the beaten path, where I got the 3rd ward address, but not paying 3rd ward prices. So everything just really just fit together. It all was a bucket of chance, and it just spilled out in my favor.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clothing boutiques. Your Target, they have a lot of choices. What have you done to make sure you've differentiated yourself?
Yeah. Initially, when I started the business, I knew that I was going to be part of the brand. So how I gained my network of people was going out every single night to different organizations' meetings or events and things like that. So I was one with the people, kind of, where my personality was what made people trust my brand and trust wanting to come shop and be repetitive customers, is because I went out and listened to people and figured out what they needed in the community, what was missing from the boutiques that we already had. Also learning from the boutiques that maybe turned over and saw what they were doing on their social media, what their comments were on their Facebook or Yelp pages, and then kind of learning from that, and then trying to twist my business plan to make it more unique by listening.
And regarding networking, and that's been so vital to your business and growing that following, what are some of the things you did initially to do well at that?
Yeah. So the reason I came to Milwaukee is because I went to high school here, I went to college here, so I knew I didn't have to start completely from scratch. So that was my first big thing of gathering a network, was utilizing the one that I already had. And then on top of that, it was going to all the events, joining different groups, doing things like Startup Milwaukee, even though a lot of these people, they're mostly boys who did tech work. Obviously they're not going to buy a necklace, but they have girlfriends, they have moms, they've got sisters.
And Matt Cordio might.
Matt Cordio would definitely look good in some gems. But he's got a girlfriend he's purchased from me before.
Yeah.
But it's also, everyone's business is built on technology and relationships. So I would never say no to anything. I was a yes person. Do you want to meet for coffee? Yes. Oh, you run your own business. Do you want to sit down and talk about it? But it's no business close to mine, but you still have that common thread of entrepreneurship and that business spirit, and you can always learn from anybody that you sit down with.
Mm-hmm. I guess, what's been the best thing about starting in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's a newer market. So when I worked in fashion in New York City, it was very fast. It was ahead of the time. So I kind of took all the knowledge that I had from there and knew that we were 2 to 3 years behind of what we're going to see in the next transition of the fashion industry. So I brought pop-up shops because I worked for a company who would do pop-up shops because they didn't want a brick and mortar store either. So then I took that concept and I brought it to Milwaukee, and no other boutique was, at least that I knew, was doing that when you Googled pop-up shop Milwaukee. So it was really just learning from the bits and pieces of my very twisted journey to get where I am today.
Right, and when you start this brick and mortar store, because obviously the world is trending more and more online, commerce is getting larger and larger, did anyone question that decision? How confident were you that that was actually going to work out, or that it was necessary with what you had going with your online, your events, your pop-up stores?
Yeah, I think I was just going with the trends. Again, I looked and I saw 80% of the people buying online were from Milwaukee. And I know, I always pretend and I say, J. Crew doesn't know, but they're my biggest competitor. So like, all these bigger stores, like when Nordstrom pops up, how am I gonna be able to stay afloat when Nordstrom is here and readily accessible to people? How am I going to compete with the bigger people and not necessarily, I like to think that all local shops that we have right now, we do community over competition. So we might carry the same brands, we might do, but I would always refer them to another small shop because there's always a little bit of difference between everybody's kind of look and feel and demographic and things like that.
So I think it's smart what you did. When you look at e-commerce, obviously things are trending towards that way, but in reality, e-commerce only accounts for 15% of all commerce. And you look at bigger brands like Trek Bicycle, Patagonia, Apple, even I think Amazon's thinking of opening up stores.
Yeah.
It's really vital that you have that online component and that you provide a very good in-person experience, and I'm guessing they've just complemented each other on your end.
Yeah, and there's that pocket of people who don't like shopping online, and the bigger trend that even like Nordstrom, J. Crew is starting to figure out is local is key. People want made in America products, they want made in Milwaukee products, and if they can't get it online, you want to actually bring it and almost make it like a little showcase in the store. We've got like Milwaukee Candle Co. We've got, Janelle Gramling. We've just got a bunch of really cool artists that come in and they either do the jewelry or now we do something with, start an initiative called Celebrities. And every 2 months we pick a woman of influence in the community and she gets to design an entire shirt. So it's going to be long sleeve, short sleeve, tank top, whatever you want. And then the print on the front has to describe them and some connection to the community. And then we do a big write-up on it. They get to do a little photo shoot, and then their product is displayed in the store for 2 months. And almost all of them sell out every single time.
How many do you make when you do that?
It varies. It just depends. Because like right now we're going through a reorder of the one that we just did. So like if it sells out before the first month, we definitely do a reorder. And it just depends on if they want to carry it in their store, if they have some sort of like e-commerce, or it just fluctuates.
And again, that's really smart. The whole influencer marketing is very popular and you've been doing that for a while. Plus you have these influential bloggers and people in Milwaukee and their friends are going to find out about Lizzie Beth when you include them in your brand.
Yeah, we're all about organically growing within the community and working with the community to grow. So all these people are sharing on their Facebook, we're helping them and they're helping us. I like exchanging goods for goods as opposed to money. It feels a lot better to work together with people.
Yep. And can you talk about some of the other ways you've used your store? It's not just a store.
Oh, sure. So our store has a full kitchen in the back, so you can host small events there for 40 or under people. 40 people or under. And you rent out the space, and people have utilized it for baby showers, bachelorette parties, book clubs. A lot of nonprofits use it for meetings. And then you can kind of do a shopping and movie night, or a shopping and, shower, pregame party, really whatever you want. So the spaces can be utilized 7 days a week, pretty much any time of day.
And what social media platforms made the biggest impact for you?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely ever changing, but initially it was Facebook. That was our biggest way to advertise and free advertisement. It's transitioned a lot into our top now are Instagram and Snapchat. Snapchat is getting to be the best one just because we can do more of a lifestyle look into how the business is run and all the new merchandise. So instead of just posting one picture at a time and potentially someone who looks at it 12 hours later won't see it on their scroll, they'll be able to look and it's more of a personal connection on Snapchat because they personally add you. It goes up on their story and they can decide to click on it and it only takes a couple seconds, but it's almost like a fun movie of the day that people get to see, and it's a great sales tactic.
Yep. And then the big event you have every year, the fashion show in April.
Yeah.
How has that helped your brand? And
Yeah.
how much bigger has it gotten every year?
Yeah. So every year for our anniversary, we host a fashion show, and it's a fashion show fundraiser. So every single year we pick a new nonprofit, and a portion or 100% of the ticket sales will go back to that particular nonprofit. And this past year was Angelman syndrome, and it's a genetic disorder that my niece actually has. So we did 100% of the tickets, and we raised almost $5,000 for that. So this is one of my favorite things to do because it connects the community to a cause, to a business, and just kind of puts all the people that I've met in 1 year, a lifetime, into one room, and they kind of just, it's just a great, it's also a networking event. Yeah, it's really fun. And then we always pick models that are everyday women. So this past year we did all the women of Barcode Milwaukee, and just to promote happy, healthy living, and everyday women go to this fantastic place that they mainly focus on women fitness. So that's always been our main kind of goal, is to foster independent women.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so neat.
And how many events are you at a year, would you say? Or a month?
Like networking events or like Lizzie Beth events?
Lizzie Beth events. I know you set up that you get involved in a lot of the local markets, fairs, other events.
Yeah, it's definitely, since year 1 through 2.5 maybe, it's definitely depleted a lot just because now that we have the brick and mortar store, it's almost like an event every single time you walk in the store. People can bring in their, some people bring in their cocktails, some people they can grab a beer from the fridge if they want it.
Yeah.
But we'll do anywhere between like 3 to 5 a month, maybe. But that, I mean, it could range from size from 10 people who are at a meeting, or it could range from 300 at our big fashion show event. Yeah.
Do you have any male fashion advice?
Male fashion advice?
I don't think I need any, but I have some friends.
Yeah, that are asking.
I have an expert sitting next to me.
Right. Well, actually, for men, I know nothing about men's fashion. I got to divert that question to somebody else. I mean, I think if you want to wear sweatpants today, you just make sure it's appropriate and you're not going to be doing an interview.
That is exactly what I want to do.
But there's a time and a place for those too.
Not all the time.
Right. But now if you think about like Beta brand, there are a lot of brands that are making more workwear look more casual. Like
What's
the sweatpant work pant, Beta brand.
BETA?
They're based out of San Francisco. Yeah, BETA brand. You might want to look at those.
I do.
There you go. That's your one thing you're getting out of this interview.
We're good. We're done.
You found a new brand.
Okay. Since you started, what has been the biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise?
Yeah, I know I've had a lot of twist, turn surprises since starting Go Get It. What's it been for you?
I think the biggest surprise is that it works. That we're going this way instead of plateauing. You always want to be on an incline, and luckily we're still on an incline.
Going on that, how often over the years, and obviously I'm guessing it was probably more at the beginning because it's obviously much less stable when you're starting up, have you questioned your decision or questioned if this is actually going to work?
Yeah. I mean, almost every day you have some sort of question in your head, you need to keep believing in yourself, and you have those days where you're just tired, you're trying to do 900 things. You might have had a bad day when you went into work that day and you're like, why am I doing this? It's a really lonely business, having your own business. I'm sitting in Lizzie Beth and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do today, team? And it's just you. You don't always want to be the smartest person in the room because you're the only person in the room.
Right.
So I think the biggest surprise is how much I've gotten to know myself and how much I need that feed off of people. And sometimes when you're on a day in the office and you're kind of just sitting there plateauing on an idea, you're looking for that next buzz that's going to kick you back into your accelerator.
Yeah. And what about the biggest mistake you've made since starting?
Biggest mistake?
I know I've made a lot of them.
I know. Well, I feel like all of our mistakes, though, you learn from your mistake.
You do.
Yeah, you don't really have time to dwell on them. It's, oh, that didn't work. All right, on to plan X, Y, and Z. But I don't think I wouldn't call it a mistake. I would just call it learning from your bumpy road. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not, obviously I have done mistakes. I just don't want to tell you them all.
Okay, that's fair. What's been the most rewarding part?
Most rewarding?
Most rewarding.
Probably just being able to have a day that's structured around people and meeting so many new people and being involved in the community and actually seeing our brand and our company make a difference with either volunteering efforts or donating back to people or getting phone calls or emails a day asking people to get us involved instead of us reaching out to them. It's them reaching out to us because they know that the main heartbeat of the company is community. And that's what builds our brand. Yeah, we sell clothes, but it's not just clothes. We're not a superficial brand. We try to make sure that people are loving what they're buying and it's not just a piece of cloth or something.
What are you most excited about right now as far as Lizzi Beth goes?
I'm most excited about, everything.
Other than being here?
Well, yeah, working with you guys has been phenomenal. I'm just excited to see where the company goes. It's almost like you have this child that you're not really sure what they're going to grow up to be. Maybe they're going to be a doctor, maybe they're going to be a scientist. And I don't know what Lizzi Beth is going to be, and it's kind of exciting. The unknown is exciting. So how are we going to build more of our online presence? How are we going to make the store better? We just did a bunch of renovations, which were super exciting. So just the little building blocks that are creating the business into something bigger has been really, really fun to watch.
Very cool. I need to stop by.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a while.
We got to deck you out. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost got that gold chain.
Yep. What's that guy's name? 2 Chain or the?
I was going for MC Hammer.
MC Hammer. Yep. Okay. Well, October's coming up. We can outfit you.
What advice would you give to people, aspiring entrepreneurs thinking about starting a business? What would you tell them, or what would you tell the 24-year-old version of yourself? What would you tell her?
Yeah. What I would tell other people is, luckily what I did is plan. Make sure that you have a business plan, you have something written down, and you have, the finances are the biggest thing that you need to watch when you have your own business, because you kind of cut yourself off to that very comfortable input of income into your bank account every.
And money can disappear kind of fast when you
start
a business.
You learn how to make a lot of money and spend a lot of money. That was also one big surprise.
Yes.
I don't know what I would tell myself. I think I'm happy that I actually took the leap of faith and I didn't get myself stuck in a life that I wasn't happy every day in. And luckily every day, maybe not all day, but every day I'm incredibly blessed and happy where I've turned out where I am today.
Very cool. That's all the questions I have for you.
Okay, wonderful.
Where can people find you?
You can find us, we're in the 3rd Ward. The address is 550 East Menominee, and it's on the corner of Jackson and Menominee. And if you want to go online, it's just www.lizzibeth.com, or I don't know, what do you call it, it's at Shop Lizzi Beth, and it's Lizzibeth. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much.
This was fun. Hey, let's shake on it.